Yo también casi me lo pierdo. 2 minutos. Shit. Treehouse. Nintendo. Treehouse. A ver, conéctate. Ah, shit. El cable está conectado en el Xbox. No. ¡Au! Me atoré. ¡Ah! Me lleva el carajo. ¿Dónde está este cable? Pues de modo. Espero que no falle. Dime por favor HDMI conectado, exacto. Uf. ¿Sí estoy aquí? Sí, ahí estamos. Starting soon. Ok, perfecto. Ok. Estamos. Treehouse. Esto vamos a dejarlo un poquito más grande. Excelente.
Hi everyone, I'm JC from the Nintendo Treehouse, and this is Nintendo Treehouse Live. Nintendo Treehouse Live is a way for us to give folks a sneak peek of some of the games and projects we're working on. In this case, we have 2 projects to show you today. Later in the program, we're going to give you a look at Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. But first, we do want to give you a look at a game that it's very, very near and dear to us in the Treehouse, which is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And who better to show us through a Pikmin game than my man Corey. So Corey and I are going to take you through a little bit of the main adventure story mode, if you will, and we'll sprinkle a couple of new things along the way. So Corey, want to kick us off?
Yeah, thank you. It is my pleasure to talk anything Pikmin related. As you mentioned, JC, we are showing Pikmin 3 Deluxe today, and right now we're in story mode, probably about 5 minutes into the story, past the introduction, tutorial, cutscenes, etc. And I am controlling one of the explorers named Alf here. Generally, what the story is 3 Alf and 2 explorer companions of his crash land on this alien planet and find themselves in need of getting back together again, finding the other explorers, but also finding food for their planet. And they meet these Pikmin creatures on the planet, which are adorable plant-like creatures that are very curious, they're very loyal, and you'll be using them throughout your adventure. So I just called a few red Pikmin out of the base here. And you notice I'm skipping a few of the prompts. I'm going to be doing that a little bit throughout this, just in order to keep the flow going, as well as not to spoil the game for everyone as well. So, but as I move my left stick around, you're able to see that I control my explorer, and the left stick also controls this red cursor as well. So if I'm all the way out of range, it also moves the explorer. If I push the A button where the cursor is rotated, you'll toss a Pikmin to that location. And if you toss a Pikmin near something like this flower pellet over here, you'll see that the Pikmin automatically starts to carry it back to his base, which is called an onion. And we're going to see some sprouts pop out of the top there and then go into the ground, which is the way Pikmin propagate. So if you want to get more Pikmin on your squad, you just want to bring things back to their base and then pluck the new Pikmin out of the ground. I've been using the control stick to control thus far the cursor. But what I'm going to do now briefly is just pause the game and switch over to motion control to control the cursor, just because that's a personal preference of mine that I started to like a lot more on the Wii U release, but it is totally optional for player preference on how to control the pointer. So that red pointer where you see 23 is now being controlled with just a little bit of motion now. So story-wise, we are trying to reunite with our fellow explorer, Brittany. And if I pause the game using the minus button, we can see that there's sort of a radar being pulsating over here across the water. So it looks like I need to somehow cross the water to reach Brittany. But if I try to take the direct approach and just go through the water, we're finding out that the game tells us that red Pikmin are not able to go into the water. Water is lethal to them. So fortunately, I can use my whistle with the B button and whistle all of my Pikmin back to land. So because the Pikmin are so helpful throughout my adventures, you really do grow a bond to them, and you do not want to lose even one. But there's a little creature over here that wants a lunch too. So
yeah, it looks hungry.
These yellow things that you'll come across are memos, which can often give you a brief hint on how to go about your adventure here. So it recommended me tossing a Pikmin on the back of that creature, which if I toss a couple more, we'll be able to carry that creature back to the base to get more Pikmin. And I actually tossed some Pikmin on these bridge tiles as well, because what we're able to see is even though I can't cross the water yet, if I collect enough bridge tiles with my Pikmin, they'll be able to build this bridge. So while they are bringing those tiles to the bridge, I can see that there's a few more bridge pieces across this wall, but I need to break down that wall. So if I toss a couple Pikmin at the wall, they'll start breaking it down, but they'll go pretty slowly. So if I want to speed up the process, we throw more Pikmin at the job. And meanwhile, we still have our Pikmin collecting these tiles. Looks like my Pikmin also brought back that carcass from the small little creature, so we were able to get even more Pikmin. And we'll throw these new Pikmin at the wall to make it go even faster.
¿Qué pasó, Pelo? ¿No te llegó la notificación, verdad?
You know, this whole thing about
se me hace que se volvió loco Twitch con tanta notificación que debe estar mandando.
You know, these Pikmin, you think about it, right? You pluck them out of the
ground. Ni siquiera cerré el Twitch, aparecía aquí.
Big eyes, they're still trying to figure out the world, and they're kind of relying on them to tell them what to do. So, as you can tell, all these Pikmin have like a single focus when you tell them what to do. And, you know, from their perspective, it's like, okay, well, I should follow this living thing that's telling me what to do.
Pero pues al final es port del...
You know, it's kind of curious about you. The open eyes, full of wonder, you know. It's kind of relying on you to help it, right? And so I feel kind of bad because, you know, at times you may encounter some enemies and Pikmin may, what's the word, die. And that sound is absolutely heartrending, and I do not wish that on anyone. However, if you put Pikmin
lo que pasa, Pelor, es que
it's kind of your fault. It's not theirs.
Siempre es un stream, digamos que continuo.
That's right. And I had to go back and collect them. As you mentioned, they were
siempre que estés en el canal, siempre vas a caer a lo que transmite el stream.
So you're constantly needing to whistle to get their attention whenever they complete their tasks. And we're coming up against our second creature of the game here, which is a larger version of that Bulborb we saw, that creature.
Es una versión más grande que la anterior.
As I creep around here before waking him up, I did want to point out another one of the fun features of the game, which is the in-game camera. At any time, you can push the minus button to pause and kind of just see the world from your explorer's eyes, which is that pint-sized view. So we've got, this Pikmin's just looking at me waiting for his next door. Hey, buddy. But it's a fun way to take pictures on your journey, as well as almost feel like you're kind of on this nature safari. While this enemy is sleeping, instead of tossing my Pikmin one at a time, I'm going to use a different feature which is called Charge, which if you lock on and press the X button, will send them all of your Pikmin in your squad at the creature or
Ok,
object
en lugar de aventarle unos poquitos, le aventas
and
todos.
that can be very useful if you've got a large squad. You're wanting them to take an order all at one time. So you can use that on the walls as well, for example.
And you mentioned that you just used that feature a couple times. I do want to point that out because I really, really like that feature, which is the lock-on feature. If you're familiar with the Pikmin games, you'll kind of remember that there was no lock-on feature. You had to kind of manually aim, kind of do it. But by tapping the ZR button a couple times, you can cycle through targetable items on the screen. And so it can make kind of tossing and moving your Explorer a lot faster just by kind of hot swapping between different lock-on targets. So I really dig that.
Yeah, and I think the cycling through the different objects and enemies is the thing that really helps me when there are multiple objects or you're in a tight space. So we're coming across Brittany. We're getting a little bit closer to her. We are seeing that fortunately she's okay. The crash landing just took a little bit of a nap, and she needs to be rescued now. She's kind of still trapped in here.
Ok, vamos a rescatarla.
Yeah, the explorers do speak a different language, so fortunately we as the players can see the subtitles there. Very cute language. All right, so Brittany noticed that there was some fruit nearby, which we will see just as we round the corner. A strawberry, which looks much larger in this world to us because we, as the explorer and the Pikmin, are so tiny. And because my explorer cannot jump, the only way to reach this item is actually by tossing.
Escuché algo del modo multijugador o algo así. Bueno, ahorita está hablando de que, bueno, hay cuatro personajes en la pantalla. Ahorita no han mencionado nada de un modo multijugador. Traje de Olimar para... ¿Nuevo traje de Olimar para Smash? Podría ser. No personaje jugable de Smash, ¿no?
We need to get past this wall,
but
we're finding that this wall Red Pikmin can't break down. And so another new feature that I wanted to showcase here is these optional hints that have been added. So if a newer player, got stuck or just wanted to know what to do next,
ayudas que antes no tenía.
Up on the plus control pad, and that's going to show some hints. And then even in addition, some arrows on the ground just to let you know where to go. So it's guiding me to a nearby cave here to
ok, nos están guiando.
And at the top of the screen, you'll notice that kind of sun meter.
O sea, te lleva de la manita para ver lo que tienes.
Right across the top of the screen. And that kind of indicates how much time, Corey has to get through his tasks because, well, let's just say nighttime is not very nice for Pikmin. You want to make sure you get them out of there before sundown. And, that actually ties into the hints also. So if this is the first time for you playing the game, if you really just want to make the most out of your day and you want something, some kind of hint, feel free to use them. And just it'll help you kind of explore different ways and different methods that maybe you weren't aware of yet.
Ya consigues unos Pikmin nuevos.
And after defeating this enemy, we discovered that there was a new type of Pikmin that were actually inside that creature. These are rock Pikmin. And... we didn't go into detail earlier, but each Pikmin type will have their own specialties. So we're learning here that rock Pikmin have the ability to break sort of these hard crystals or glass, which red Pikmin would not. Later on, you'll see that blue Pikmin are the only Pikmin that can go in the water.
Los azules son los únicos que pueden meterse al agua. Los rojos no pueden, los de piedra no pueden.
All right. So now that we've got that enemy defeated, I would like to basically sprout a few more rock Pikmin. So I'm going to ask those rock Pikmin to bring it back to the onion, and we will pluck some more rock Pikmin out before we continue.
De hecho los Treehouse Jazz son gameplays.
Memos that pop up, letting you know a little game tip.
¿Qué pacho?
I love the adorable kind of 2D artwork on those as well.
Heinz.
All right, so we've got our rock Pikmin. We've got our red Pikmin. I feel confident we can head out of this cave now. Oops. Let me reorient myself there. There we go.
Sí, siempre que hay un Treehouse es así. Siempre es así, un chorro de detalles sobre el juego.
So this wall that we could not break down earlier, again,
ahora
if
sí
I
ya vas a poder
throw
destruirla.
red Pikmin, we'll see that nothing really happens.
Revientas los
If I push the L
rojos.
button, I swap between Pikmin types.
Con el botón L seleccionas entre los Pikmin que
and
tienes.
we're seeing them break down
Y avientas ya los de piedra y ya rompen.
Using my whistle to gather my Pikmin back and...
Otra vez.
Finally, we found you.
Yeah, Jesús de Nazaret, bienvenido. Estamos viendo el Treehouse de Pikmin. Una introducción al gameplay de cómo va a ser el juego.
That's a celebratory backflip they just did.
De esto no me spoileo, Kirby bebé. Bueno,
no,
si no quieres, ¿no?
So
¿Te gustaron los zombies?
Reunited here. I'm able to use both Brittany and Alf at the same time. And the first kind of way that the game will teach you, it's not just for, I guess, aesthetics that you can have multiple party members, but it actually comes in handy from a strategy perspective. So having Brittany,
¿de qué es mi camiseta? Es la de Mario Kart, ya le he mostrado.
Toss her some Pikmin, and then at any moment while you're playing, you can push.
Anderson, gracias por tu like.
Switch to Brittany, and then we're going to see that she's able to, since she's on a higher elevation, throw some Pikmin up to reach that lemon. And if I were on a lower elevation, I'm going to whistle really quickly once they get this lemon down.
El cola nos hospeda.
We would see that if I tried to throw red Pikmin that high, they would not be able to reach that high. So there are points throughout the game where you will need to split up your squad and maybe throw one over a gap or over water. But since we do have two explorers now in the game, both Alf and Brittany, JC, I thought it could be a good time for you to hop in, since with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, it is the first time that two people can play the story mode together.
Le quedan unos poquitos exclusivos a la Wii U.
JC, you want to hop in?
Absolutely.
Cool. So we'll see the screen now
become el split screen, qué bonito.
With me on the left, JC on the right. JC doesn't have any Pikmin right now, so he can't really do much on his own. So I'm going to throw some red Pikmin
ver la mona chila del Zelda,
tranquilos. You'll just have to whistle at them and they'll be in your party.
De hecho, el truco fue clavarnos lo de Pikmin antes de Zelda, porque si no nadie va a ver esto.
Crystals, which can be a little dangerous to the red Pikmin, so let me take these guys out before the red Pikmin squad comes in.
Ok, entonces primero está usando a los de piedra.
So I'll take these bridge tiles over here and start building.
Que los rojos pasen.
Yeah, there's a bridge. So I'll start doing this.
Los rojos son mucho más débiles.
There is a bridge we found, and JC
son la canción de la URSS.
I found some bridge tiles
Nuestros exclusivos.
To be carried back, but it was in a sort of crystal. So
literal todo lo que dicen te lo explican en el juego.
And we're kind of seeing some teamwork here. JC is using his squad to do a different task than me.
Sí, pero ahorita yo creo que esto es para la gente que nunca ha jugado Pikmin o que nada más lo han visto así muy por encimita, como yo. Yo no juego Pikmin. No hablo inglés, lo que entiendo es que los monos se mueven con el control. Pues es que realmente no están diciendo gran cosa, ¿eh? Están casi platicando. Ya dijeron cómo hacer los puentes, ya dijeron cómo encontrar los Pikmin nuevos. Explicaron ya pusieron las últimas piezas y ya está el puente listo. Me da ansiedad. Me imagino.
I'm taking some.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You threw some Pikmin on some enemies and some.
Y ahora ya se llevan a los enemigos con los Pikmin.
Food, some pellets that we can bring back. And as we make our way back, you're going to notice that we're actually back where we started.
¿Quién jugó Lemmings?
So we built a bridge, sort of a shortcut now back to the starting.
¿Quién jugó Lemmings? Los originales.
I'll go ahead and grab
el 1 y el 2.
They're just standing there and. We're finding a new wall that we couldn't actually break down earlier when we first started.
No podíamos abrir esa puerta, ya la pueden abrir con los Pikmin de piedra.
Throw them at this wall. And we didn't talk too much about this earlier, but any piece of fruit that you saw, we got the strawberry earlier. You'll want to bring that back to your base.
Tienes que traerlo a la base.
The more fruit you collect, the more days you're going to be able to explore.
Vas a tener más tiempo para
that's
jugar.
how fruit plays a role in the game's
O sea, la fruta te ayuda a tener más tiempo.
Brittany here is noticing that we got a new radar kind of detection from elsewhere on the map, so
tenemos el radar para Vamos a ir para allá.
There's another tip letting us know that red Pikmin
Los
are
Pikmin
fire
rosas, rojos son resistentes al fuego.
Looks so defiant in the face of
Yeah,
fire.
fuego.
Look at that. I just kind of enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna take out this this enemy.
Some new creatures here. All right.
Wow.
Oh, and I did not listen to that warning, but my rock Pikmin's lit up like a birthday candle, and he's
Tienes
freaking
tiempo
out.
limitado, sí.
Similar to Pikmin, if they're
Durantísimo. Ven aquí
drowning,
porque no hay
as
stream.
long as you whistle at a Pikmin in peril,
Que des me
as long
gusta
as
o algo y
it's
se
in
quede
time,
clavado.
they'll come running
Chale.
back to you, and they will.
¿Se traba mucho?
They'll be okay. Here it's just letting us know that we found some bridge materials, but this time it's on the opposite side of the water, so there's going to be a little bit more complications in order to get those bridge pieces. All right.
Taking this.
I also have some red Pikmin in my party, so rather than continuing to burn my rock Pikmin,
Todos los streamers, no
try
solo.
to use my red Pikmin as well. Oh, thank you. Teamwork.
I got you.
Nice. All right, so those enemies have been felled. All right, so at this point, there is the bridge that we cannot cross on the left. JC, if you kind of come up to where I'm at, I'm going to hold down the Y button, which will allow you to join my party, and then I can toss you over the water, and I can also throw some rock Pikmin over to you, because I think you're going to need some rock and some red.
Thank you.
And while you work on that bridge, I'll just hang out.
Sweet. Ooh, yes. Found him.
Oh, nice. You used the charge feature. Well
I'm
done.
impatient.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to have a little bit of fun.
Veo una chica inglesa, el otro día lo tuvo que dejar. ¿En serio? ¿Se le cortó mucho?
Camera, I really like it. From that pint-sized perspective. Oh, there's our enemy we just defeated, but we can also see some Pikmin hanging out.
Hola, Leonor. Estamos viendo a los Pikmins.
Oh, wow. They are just waiting for you to get your job
Oh,
done.
mira qué bonitos, acostaditos.
They need direction. They need guidance. They need love and support and all the other things.
Necesitan guía.
Okay. Back to work. You guys.
Sigamos trabajando.
Yeah, I think my folks are done on my side, so we're good.
Actually, the one other the one other feature I wanted to showcase briefly is another new feature to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is called the Piklopedia. And here, any creatures that you come across in the game will get their own entries, and you can, once you go in, you can
Pokédex para Pikmin. Para Pikmin.
Different entries from different
Estaba almorzando, provecho.
in your party. So
sí, es el Xavier Ayala es el Pikmin de Wii U.
Since we've got Brittany, we can
porteado y mejorado un poco.
There are spaces for 3 additional explorers notes.
Ahora sí, Renato, vientos.
There will be some other fun
Los hechos que entre jefes son odiosos, me imagino.
I find that it's really
sí, no está nuevo porque está vengo yo, pero es nuevo para los que no lo habíamos jugado.
On how they talk about the enemies and creatures you come across. So yeah, that is probably enough story mode for now.
Okay, suficiente modo de historia por ahora.
And pause the game and let's switch over to another brand new feature.
Gracias, Orlando.
3 Deluxe called Side Stories.
Side Stories. Ahora son historias secundarias.
See what Captain Olimar and Louis got up to prior to the main story of Pikmin.
Lo que hicieron Captain Olimar y
before I forget, let's also talk about. I remember we mentioned the whole the sun kind of passing over, and they have a certain limited amount of time in the day.
Hablan del tiempo del día.
You know, there's actually a much more difficult mode for
Hay un modo más diferente para la gente que
yeah, there are 3 difficulty modes in story.
3 modos de dificultad.
In Pikmin 3 Deluxe, there is normal, hard, and there is even a
normal,
ultra spicy
difícil
difficulty
y
setting,
ultra spicy, o sea, ultra
gives you
picoso.
only 60 Pikmin can be in the
Solamente te da
as well as
60 Pikmin al mismo tiempo.
So for those that are familiar with Pikmin 3 or want a much bigger challenge, that'll be right up your alley. But
es que se me olvidó el nombre del otro.
Yeah, for now, let's hop into a sneak peek of Side Stories, which I mentioned feature Captain Olimar prior to the happenings of the main story. And we're going to see Olimar here facing the camera.
Olimar.
Sort of the background of this is that Captain Olimar, the company he works for, is in debt yet again back on his home planet. And his boss is sending him here looking for treasure to help the company get out of debt.
Que ha llegado 2 veces
is
a este
a very
planeta.
loyal worker.
Hace demasiado frío.
And will go to great lengths to make his boss and employer happy. So good for Olimar here. Of course, Captain Olimar was in Pikmin 1 and the original Pikmin and Pikmin 2, as well as Louis, who was his partner in Pikmin 2. Maybe a little bit less competent than Captain Olimar, who you can see
Louis
here,
es el otro.
but still a very key member of Olimar's team.
Well, and he's got his charm. Louis got charm.
Yeah, no, Louis great. We love Louis. But let's see here. All right, the objective of this mission is actually going to be different from the story mode we were playing earlier, because now the goal is just to collect as much treasure as we can.
Únicamente necesitamos encontrar
and JC, of course, we've got you in here split screen right now, but for the moment we'll just switch it back to solo play for simplicity, and I will, I still do get to control both explorers, so I can still get Olimar in my party. I can also call the yellow Pikmin, which we're seeing for the first time in this demo.
And we'll see
a little bit of their specialties. So we've got this electrified fence where if I throw a red Pikmin at it, we'll see them get a little bit electrocuted. But the yellow Pikmin are immune. They can be thrown.
Los rojos se electrocutan, pero los amarillos son inmunes a la electricidad.
We will leave Louis there to keep an eye on the yellow Pikmin,
ya lo sé.
while we take our red Pikmin out into.
Mientras los rojos van a tratar de
We saw this creature a second ago and learned that he's got kind of fire breathing, but knowing that we've got our red Pikmin with us.
Los Pikmin no les pasa nada, sí es cierto.
So even if they get shaken off, which
aunque les pase algo, de todos modos no les va a pasar nada.
We can let's do some charging actually, Adam. There we go.
Apretamos el charge y se les echan encima todos los
Pikmin were nearby when he was defeated, they're just automatically going to bring him back, which I
Cuando están cerca, automáticamente se van a la base.
Blue Pikmin in the wild
Aquí
here,
unos
so we'll
azules.
just call them. But before we hop in this water here, I'm going to swap back to Louis to see what he's up to, and he's just plucking Pikmin and keeping an eye on those yellow
Louis está sacando Pikmins del suelo.
So, all right, let's take our blue Pikmin into the water.
Se va el azul al
agua. Blue
agua.
Pikmin are the only Pikmin that can survive in the
los que
water.
pueden sobrevivir en el
We
agua.
found a creature in here that's a little bit hard to see, but he's under the water here. You can see that pie chart slowly starting to disappear.
Ya lo están atacando.
And this number 5 is actually the amount of gold.
El 5 es la cantidad de tesoro que tiene.
As the Pikmin take this treasure back to the base, we're going to see in our upper left the currency start to increase.
Arriba va a ir creciendo el oro conforme lo vayan llevando a la nave.
Back as much treasure as we can. Looks like the yellow fence is almost done, but not quite. So.
Ya casi terminan con la reja amarilla.
Oh, we lost some Pikmin somewhere. What happened?
No sé porque no están haciendo nada, pero en el camino
I was not as
para eso estás aquí, Leonor.
And I lost some Pikmin because
el problema es que no está en español. Por eso no lo están transmitiendo.
That is electric. That I believe he either electrocuted my blue Pikmin or maybe ate them, but
maybe both.
Take them out. Yeah, maybe both. Yeah. I can still throw blue Pikmin at him, but once he starts to generate electricity, you want to get away. All right, I think we've got him. The blue Pikmin. All right, we're bringing him back. Right. Let's head back here with him. Actually, Louis got control of that, so I'm just going to take control of Olimar. And maybe Olimar can find some more Pikmin on the stage.
You know, I also noticed that you're walking by a couple of different fruit and stuff like that, and I also want to point out the,
de hecho, no es la primera vez que pasa,
the different ways you can kind of think about a map. Because, you know,
sí,
from
ha
my
habido varias
perspective,
veces
if you have a
que he tenido que
large
transmitir
number of Pikmin, that really is a
el original en
how much
inglés.
you can grab.
Bueno,
Because, you know, a large piece of fruit or a large item that requires a lot, if it's farther away from your base, you're not only going to need to, you know, have the number to carry that item, but if you find something on the way back, you're going to need enough to, like if you want spur of the moment just to go pick it up, you're going to need to also have enough Pikmin to pick up that item as well. So I always try to memorize, like, where items are, what did I see, where did I pass it, is there anything else en route that I could probably take the next time I come back. And so it also creates a really interesting kind of play mechanic where I'm kind of thinking about how could I do this better, right? It's like I did it in this order last time. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this map one more time. and I know I can get more out of it. I know I missed that, I missed this. So
están hablando de las estrategias que debes de tener con tus diferentes Pikmins. Una vez que pasas un stage de alguna forma, puedes probar de otra forma con otros diferentes Pikmins, siendo que ya los encontraste después, bla, bla.
Just to make sure that I always want to have my Pikmin doing
Aprendan inglés con Jazz.
In this mode, because again, you want to create that high score and get as much treasure as you can. So,
Con
all right,
la Miss Jazz.
Nuggets going, and looks like these Pikmin are still working on the grapes.
Sí, la Jazz es muy inteligente, se aprovecha del stream para promocionarse.
Alright, let's go back to base, because there might just be some idle Pikmin at base waiting for their next order, which there are. Let's take them out for their next adventure.
Give them purpose, Corey.
Ooh, and pluck some more Pikmin. Alright, while they're plucking. While Pikmin are being plucked, it's always a good idea to switch to your other explorer. Alright. Because you can't while they're being plucked, there's not really much else that those guys can be doing. So, all right.
Si imaginan los profes dan gracias por Discord, Facebook o Insta.
Weakness is actually
pues, Leonor, en estos tiempos está bien donde den clases. Si los chavos la reciben, donde sea es bueno.
No, let's just get away from that.
Oh man, that's
not all Pikmin, not all creatures are actually small though. Even though we bailed out of that battle,
muchas gracias,
and that creature was quite small. There are some creatures that are
much more intimidating and large
that you'll come across. This one included, which
así como Homero, ¿no? Así todo trajeado. Es que estamos viendo directo.
I've collected 327 tacos or gold so far. This is probably a good point to end.
No funcionará si no pueden poner atención en los streams del juego. Les gusta que le van a poner su clase de profe. Sí. Y luego más en Facebook. Que
end here
te
for
pases
now,
a lo
but we've got
siguiente.
one more mode that we wanted to showcase.
Siguiente modo que nos van a mostrar.
Completely different from anything we've shown
completamente
so far,
distinto
and it is
de lo que han
a
mostrado.
one-on-one competitive mode called
Modo
Bingo
competitivo.
Battle.
Modo competitivo,
so
uno
Bingo
contra
Battle,
uno.
You know, it's definitely one of, I think, our favorite modes in the Treehouse because it gets really, really heated. You'll see in a second.
Pero esto no
the
es.
objective of Bingo Battle really
Godín y
is to
Steven a la
show
vez,
bingo
claro.
card. I'm going to be on the right side, Cora will be on the left. And of course, if you're familiar
Es el
with
Nintendo
Bingo,
Treehouse,
all
sí.
you have to do is just make a line.
Es el Nintendo Treehouse de Pikmin 3.
Diagonal, any kind of line.
Y terminando esto, un anuncio de Hyrule Warriors.
Collect either an item
a ver qué
or
tal.
an enemy to fill in that space. Sometimes there's multiple of an item. Sometimes there's not. But if you take a look at the two cards in the bottom and the middle, you'll notice that there are the same items, but they are placed differently on each of our bingo cards.
A ver, tienes que buscar
I'm not as good at
lo que encuentra. Tienes que buscar lo que tienes en la bingo card.
Craft my strategy of what I want to focus on first, and
yeah, I can talk a little bit about what's going on right now since we start with only 5 Pikmin by default.
Tenemos 5 Pikmins para empezar.
Because we start with 5. You're going to want to create a larger Pikmin squad as quickly as you
necesitas hacer un squad de Pikmin lo más rápido posible.
The more that you're able to accomplish. And the more that you're able
Entonces abres las florecitas, te las llevas y se plantan los Pikmin en el suelo y ya los sacas.
Sending some to one area and some to another.
No, la casita de luego.
To pull up the map, which either player
se saca
can do,
unas patas.
If you're not sure where a specific item on the bingo board that you want to collect is.
El modo de juego de Hyrule Warriors no me gustaba o atraía bastante hasta que jugaron Beast Warriors en PC. Son muy buenos los Warriors. Pero no son para todos, exactamente. Es demasiado caótico de repente, pero es muy satisfactorio cuando ya vences a todos los enemigos. Se pone muy chingón. Algún día debería de jugar el otro Hyrule Warriors.
There's a lot of deep strategy in here too. While Corey's talking, I'm actually thinking about a couple things. Like for example, taking a look at the bingo card that I have.
¿Cuántos juegos hay? No conocía. 3.
If I target the corners,
este es un port del tercero que estaba en Wii U.
If you target corners, that means you have with one item, you're able to get like a horizontal, vertical, and diagonal line all at the same time.
O sea, Lo que tienes que hacer es rellenar tu tarjeta de bingo cazando a los animales. Cazando los animales que tienes.
Which started, they kind of just start like thwacking at my head, which is really annoying, but very effective, and I have to use the control stick to shake them off. My Pikmin can defeat JC's Pikmin, which is nice.
Por eso no me llama la atención.
If our Pikmin do
de que fuera como un juego fan-made, me frena. Sí, era como un tributo. Todos los personajes de Zelda en un solo juego. Todas las historias entrelazadas, está bien bizarro.
JC has an item actually from a roulette that he has, which is a triple rocks, which he is able to use and drop on me. So I actually have to be really careful here.
I'm being very quiet about it. And now he's just alright. He pointed it out.
Este Pikmin, pero a mi vecino no le gusta la idea. ¿Y qué tal que el Hyrule Warriors no ha bajado?
Yeah, you do want to sometimes be aware of what your opponent's up to in this game.
Okay, so that's fine. Okay.
Because they can be, JC can get pretty crafty at times.
All right. I'm gonna take a little.
Están hablando de cómo juega cada uno.
Strategizing by pulling some of these Pikmin I found that are my color, but they are in the water. So now I'm gonna try and.
El cupito lo quiere.
And get some of these. I'm gonna grab these blue ones.
Let's get you in the water. Yeah. Oh. I tried to lure your red Pikmin in the water.
No.
See if they would follow
Stay away from my babies.
Okay.
Es el otro.
I'll take care of that. That's fine.
So this is the first time I'm finding a cherry item, which
that's probably
again, these cherries give me a free spin on the item roulette, which can often change the tides of battle. So I'm wanting to get as many of these cherries as possible. Back to my base.
Esas cerezas le permiten utilizar la ruleta que está ahí arriba.
Cherry got me a free
y le da ítems. Órale, le da ítems, está chido.
And now I've got a rock.
Pikmin siempre me hicieron parecidos a los Lemmings. Justamente es lo que preguntaba hace rato, ¿quién había jugado Lemmings? Yo soy súper fan de los Lemmings. Terminé el de Super Nintendo, que era relativamente cómodo, completito, todos los niveles.
Another item that I picked up through that I got from my charity is sort of a free spin on the item roulette.
Esos Lemmings.
Is this golden
había uno de PC como me
object,
enviciaba.
which if I use it will fill up.
¿Cuál sería? ¿El 3? ¿El 2? Había varios. Yo me quedé en el 1. El 1 era la neta.
Oh, no. The water now.
Había uno en 3D, de hecho. Uno de Lemmings. Sí, el 1 era la neta. Y la música.
Okay. So I need 2. I see the line that I want, but I'm. Oh no! That was a direct hit.
Tómala,
you got
pobre.
me at, like the right time. I have one.
Oh, I was staring at your screen.
Le mató a todos.
I'm down to one single Pikmin. If I win this map.
Que los primeros niveles se los salieron de nivel como una pirámide dentro de la puerta, sí.
I won't.
He got me sleeping.
Y que gritaban yupi cuando llegaban a la mitad.
I wish
see if I can actually just...
I had more than one.
Do this though.
I need
to get more
so... Vamos a hacer un multiverso de César de YouTube y uno de Facebook.
¿Y está?
Cuando se caían y se quebraban, ay sí, pobrecitos. O cuando explotaban.
Oh, it's still shaking so much. Oh my gosh.
Cuando usabas la bomba.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
I need a cherry.
Okay, dude, if I could just pick up, where was that? I really shouldn't be checking this right now, but that's right. All the enemies actually show up as those green flashing dots. So I'm actually trying to find.
Sí, como me encantaban los Lemmings. Plática de señores. No, es que deberían de jugar Lemmings. Es un juego muy bueno.
Me and my buddy. You're my boy, Blue.
Todos sus medicinas. O sea, sacan las pastillas.
Oh, that was exactly what I needed. Okay. So the item that I just got was a.
Me acuerdo de los Crazy Machines.
10 free Pikmin basically, which sprout at my base.
Come on.
Los Crazy Machines.
Come on, this will work.
¿Los Micro Machines o Crazy Machines? Crazy Machines no me suena.
but I need way more. JC looks like he just needs the
yo por eso estoy tapado, porque tengo frío.
The red marble, which are both
you mean like these two?
Yes. And I don't think I'm going to have enough Pikmin to...
Oh, please tell me this is happening.
Nice.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, my palms are sweaty. I'm so excited.
Ok, entonces es hacer una línea.
From my perspective, what really turned the tides there is I was about to defeat both Bulborbs that I needed.
No,
but that rock came down at just the inopportune
Crazy Machine era de hacer maquinitas. No.
And I had just kind of forgotten that JC still had that item.
No, de ese no me acuerdo.
Well done. You used
es que a mí no me gustaban mucho los de puzzles.
This feels so good, guys. Okay.
JC feels way too good right now, so we're going to play one more game.
Lemmings hasta lo tenía yo en cartuchito de Super Nintendo, por ahí debe de estar.
To not take it easy. I'm not saying I was taking it easy last time, but
that felt so good.
Ay, ¿van a jugar otro?
Smaller stage, so JC and I are probably going
ok, un stage mucho más pequeño.
To,
esperemos que acabe más rápido.
Much quicker than we did in the last game.
Van a atacarse
so
mucho
there's
más
really
rápido.
less of an opportunity to make mistakes here.
Menos oportunidades para hacer errores.
Again, the map is small, so
el cartucho más tengo es mi cartucho de Tetris de la NES.
Yep. And Corey,
hola, Sarchinito. Mi cartucho más viejo debe de ser...
Yeah, the only thing in between us is that really this orange Bulborb enemy that you kind of see here.
Pues debe de ser el Mario Brothers de NES.
So, other than that,
porque los del Atari, quién sabe dónde quedaron.
Which scares me because...
no, los cartuchos no, sí tengo de Atari.
Alright.
Por ahí debo de tener algunos cartuchos de Atari. Duck Hunt. Sí. Duck Hunt con un Mario. Ajá. Y unos vecinos tenían el que era Duck Hunt con Mario, con el del tapete. Track pad, no sé qué. El tapete. ¿También tenés el tapete? Wow. No, yo no lo tuve. Sí, no, sería para un juego. Para el de carreritas.
Oh man, these Bulborbs are just hungry and wow, I do not like that they're on my side of the map right now. It's almost as if you sent them over here, but I know you didn't.
Lo que ocupo saber si esa versión de peleas de Pikmin es para varios. No lo he visto.
It's only nice to give gifts that
iba todo bugueado. Yo me acuerdo que nosotros hacíamos trampa con el juego de las carreras, así con la mano.
I wonder if that actually worked out in my favor, because at least
vaya, sí son viejos.
That I'm actually trying to steal one of the only things
vaya, son igual de viejos que mis hermanos.
No, not seeing it totally at all. I have no idea what you're doing.
Demasiado viejos. Chale.
Nope, we're good.
Golden strawberry, you said?
No, mine. I have numbers. But
y ya casi gana el azul.
No. So all I need now is a red strawberry, which looks like is right behind my base.
Para el Zelda, el Colas no tengo la menor idea. Este es el último modo que mencionaron. Y este es el último juego que van a hacer, yo creo. Entonces, asumo que en unos momentos va a empezar.
It gets really competitive playing Bingo Battle.
¿Qué pasó, Renato? Tranquilo.
But really all the modes offer a little bit of a different.
Mejor voy cigarros para robar el reno.
We hope you're looking forward to checking out Pikmin.
Vamos por cigarros y no
Be on the
regresemos.
lookout for an eShop demo that will include save data transfer to the full game.
Va a haber una demo del
and if you
juego.
complete the eShop demo, defeat the last boss in the demo, you'll be able to start the full game with Ultra Spicy mode if you'd like that extra challenge. So again, thanks for
no otra vez, o regresan con 2 hijos más.
Don't forget the game itself.
Historia real, chale.
October 30th.
Yes, no creo que pase de la 1.
Thanks, Corey. Again, really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me have
that
one win.
Yo creo que lo que viene van a ser como 5 minutos.
And again, I can't wait to play some more
10
Bingo
minutos
Battle
máximo.
with you, in October. So, coming up next, obviously, is I'm waiting for this too, which is Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Ahí viene lo de Hyrule Warriors.
Over to you, Kay.
Listo.
Thanks, JC. Thanks, Corey. Wow, Pikmin looks like a lot of fun. Hi, everyone. I'm Kay from Nintendo Treehouse, and I've got my colleagues Chico and Kendra here with me.
Contenido pregrabado.
Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that we are doing this remotely. So there might be some technical limitations, but we're asking for your patience and your understanding as we work as hard as we can to bring you an amazing stream. So today we're going to take a look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild.
Age of Calamity,
100 años of the Great Calamity and the events leading up to it, which really can only be told through the 1 versus 1,000 action of a Warriors game. We'll start off with
es un juego que únicamente se puede mostrar utilizando
Chico, are you ready?
El tipo de juego de
Yes, I am.
Warriors.
So,
let's get started.
Ahí estamos.
I know. I'm playing as Urbosa right now, as you can see.
Está Urbosa, Zelda,
Link. Inside the Gerudo Town right now.
Estamos en el Gerudo Town,
sí. It is a Hyrule Warriors game, so you will be using X and Y.
Es un juego de Hyrule Warriors.
In strong attack, and then also A. Oh wait. Iga must is coming. Right now, the Gerudo Town is under attack by Iga clan, but I don't want to talk about why they're here. But the objective is I have to actually defeat all 3 Iga Blade Masters.
Tiene que vencer a 3 Blade Masters de los Igas.
Action, I have to use
Ahí está uno.
Rune to counterattack.
Madres.
And I can use, I just use the stasis now, as you can tell.
Stasis.
But each character can use all 4 different runes in different occasions. So I need to focus on attacking him right now. So I'm going to let Kate and Kendra talk about what's unique about Urbosa.
Great, thank you
pues
so much.
Es que antes de los tiempos oscuros, Renato.
Gameplay is really fun and exciting, and as you can see, it's focused on her ability to use an attack with lightning. She has a unique ability to charge up lightning, which is represented
La habilidad de Urbosa es el rayo, y su forma de juego se centra
and once it's charged up, she can actually use the lightning in addition to
que no me gusta Zelda, Dios.
Strong attacks to kind of strengthen those attacks and do some really character-specific stuff with it. She also
Pero
uses
¿cuál continuidad, Renato?
Weak
No, esto es 100 años antes. No sabes cómo haya cambiado el pedo en 100 años.
Chico can get the timing right after some of these big attacks where there's still some electricity lingering in the air. She can charge up her electricity super quick, which takes a lot of skill and a lot of timing, but it's very satisfying when you can pull it off.
Okay, so I'm running
acuérdate, Renato, suspension of disbelief.
And I just wanted to add too, aside from the gameplay that you're seeing, well, first of all, oh wait, no,
oh my gosh,
interrupting myself.
No,
there's a Korok.
Qué chido.
Really, Korok.
Ay, Korok.
But this is the first time that people get to play as Urbosa, which is already super awesome. And this area probably looks pretty familiar.
Sí, esta área se ve muy familiar.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see these places.
O sea, es el mismo mapa prácticamente.
But what I did want to say is fans can look forward to getting more backstory on these characters as well.
Ajá, dice que vamos a poder tener más historia de los personajes.
And also
su
more
relación con
information
Zelda.
about Urbosa's relationship to Zelda's late mother.
Y más información sobre la relación de Urbosa y la mamá de Zelda.
Get to know them in ways that you didn't get to in Breath of the Wild. This game is your opportunity to do that.
Si querías saber información de todo eso, pues este va a ser el juego.
It's really, there's a lot to unpack in here and a lot to see, and it's very thrilling.
Eso me encanta, necesito lore de juego. Sí, sí, sí.
To be able to
de hecho, por eso yo lo quiero. No sé qué está pasando, Silent Trail. Es un juego de Warriors.
And now we're taking a look at Zelda's gameplay, which is also a first.
Es que
very exciting.
100 años antes de Breath of the Wild hubo una guerra. Hubo una guerra donde se perdieron muchísimas vidas. Y este juego la va a retratar. Entonces este juego es 100 años antes de Breath of the Wild. Y estamos en esa guerra.
And she can create different combinations of runes to take out
me mató a mí.
huge
no te mates.
¡Ah,
qué pedo!
Oh my gosh. in a very unique way. It's it's so cool to see Zelda being able to take out these guys.
Ah, es Zelda, no me he fijado. Utiliza las habilidades también de Link.
For me, anytime Zelda gets to, you get to play as Zelda and annihilate enemies as Zelda, it's pretty much a win for me. Because Zelda in a Zelda game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's really fun to play as in this one.
¿Para qué toma la foto? ¿Qué pedo?
Nice work.
¿Y mi van? Ah,
nice work.
Ok. Avanzamos.
She's great.
I know Zelda is great, but... Yeah.
Ah, ya.
Okay, so I have to chase
Oops,
after...
demasiado tarde.
Yes, definitely. I have to chase after the Iga people, so I'm gonna go after that to the location I'm told to go.
¿Cuánto lo botaste?
And for people who are new to the Warriors
era
series,
expulsión temporal,
as you can see, there are prompts on the screen that help guide you through the process of the gameplay and the action. But you also can turn those off if you want to.
No, ¿cómo para siempre? Sí, era expulsión temporal.
So I'm at this location, and it looks like my objective is to defeat the enemies with loud attacks.
¿A quién expulsaron? A Silent Flare. Es buen pedo el Silent Flare.
Oh, I can't use it right now, but I will wait till my rune fills up first.
Buenas, soy nuevo. Bienvenido.
Make some noise, Chico.
Okay, so I'm going...
Bienvenido al canal.
Hold on. These guys are mad.
This guy's really getting in your way. So as you can see,
sí, ya sabe
when
que...
you use the Sheikah runes,
ya sabe que así nos llevamos todos.
A wait time for it to charge back up before you can use it again.
Tenga.
Which is very similar to how it worked in Breath of the Wild. Oh man, that was a gorgeous takeout right there. And the reason for using these loud attacks was to call forth a certain familiar monster. And there he is. Oh man. I think he's beautiful.
Yeah, he's too scary. And he's coming after me, so I don't think I want to do this. Bye-bye.
No, let's go ahead and
that's it.
Let's escape to the main menu while we can.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back to
¿Eso qué es?
the
Pues es un
world
enemigo
map
de Breath of the
and
Wild.
show some of the gameplay between battles.
Ahora vamos al juego entre las peleas.
And unlocking
el mapa, el sonido.
There it
no
is.
Mames.
Very familiar map of Hyrule. Chico, do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so if you ever played
ya lo
like
quiero.
a Hyrule Warriors game or maybe different Warriors game, you might be familiar with how the menu looks like.
Sí, literal es
From
todo.
chapter 1, 2, 3 type thing. But this one, you actually go through different chapters and locations using the map of Hyrule from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And when I first saw this, I was literally screaming because it was so gorgeous and I just loved it.
Dice que la primera vez que vio el mapa que hasta gritó de emoción.
When you're playing stages, you collect a lot of different type of materials. So
tienes que coleccionar materiales.
You can unlock different locations on the map.
Y con los materiales desbloqueas lugares del mapa. Establos, lugares de entrenamiento.
Dishes you can cook.
Donde cocinar.
So one of the things I wanted to show is actually here.
Nos va a mostrar
blacksmith.
Un herrero.
It's a Hyrule Warriors game, so you will be collecting a lot of different weapons while you are in the
Vamos a
stage.
encontrar muchas armas.
Not like Breath of the Wild, you don't. The weapons do not break.
Aquí no se rompen las armas.
But you can use these weapons you collected
se me acabaron los puntos, güey.
Your primary.
Déjame postura. Estoy bien sentado.
So. You know, right now I'm using this sword, but there's other different type of weapons I can get and different, way to use it. So I want to use my sledgehammer, iron sledgehammer, and fuse them with all the materials I got so far.
With the level 1.
Lo voy a mejorar
that you will not.
Ah, lo voy a mejorar con sus materiales. Como en el... ¿Cómo se llama?
Don't you dare. Okay.
Voy a utilizar el de la sopa.
No, use it.
So,
lo mejora como el de las waifus.
Weapons and you can strengthen. You of course have to use the rupees, so make sure you collect the rupees when you are in the stage 2.
Utilizas rupias y
And now I
utilizas
have
las armas
my
para mejorar.
sledgehammer leveled up to 5, so I can
Ya
use
tiene
that.
su martillo nivel 5.
Another thing is the materials you collected. You can make the dish. So let's see, this one is ready.
Ahora los materiales que colectas para cocinar.
And you need the materials 5 fish. So I have the trout.
Ya tienes las truchas.
So now
las lubinas.
So I can earn the recipe for chili fish stew.
El sonidito.
Right, and the recipes can be used
ya me dieron ganas de jugar.
¿Este
o el otro?
A little bit of a buff
¿El Bredo?
before you go into battle.
Animal Crossing.
Que
güey, estoy llevo una hora, estoy bostezándolo, güey.
Collect them and see what
no me he fijado que no me he terminado mi café.
Yep, they also have,
a mí seguido me pasa. Seguido traigo mi café súper frío y apenas me lo estoy terminando al finalizar el stream de la mañana.
You can also turn them into these other quests, which you can use to unlock bonus combos or extra health or
búsquedas para encontrar para sacar más combos.
But the thing I really like about these is that they have little
stories
sí. That go along with them. Little glimpses into the characters' lives between battles during this war. The one that we just did, for example, is about a young child in Hateno village who wants to build a monster dummy so that they can practice using a two-handed sword. And so Link actually brings the materials to make the dummy, creates the dummy, helps them build it, and then they train together. And that's how Link is able to come up with an extra move for his two-handed sword.
Por ejemplo, un niño que quiere crear un dummy para pelear y al final de que lo terminas... entrenas con él y así aprendes el Phasmophobia no lo he visto. No lo he visto el
So I'm going into the training mission where I can actually
es que no tengo PC. No tengo PC chida. Entonces todo lo de PC no lo manejo.
So I changed my weapon and I guess I can change my tire.
Ahora le puede cambiar su armadura, puede cambiar su
different pieces of armor as you progress through the game, and you can equip or I guess unequip them and dress him up however you want.
They look nice. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Está hermoso.
This is training attire.
No pide mucha PC. No, estoy bien con la Switch. Es que tengo Switch, tengo el Xbox, tengo Play.
Location, so I can use that.
Si cayera suficiente lana, entonces sí me compraré una PC.
Will react differently to the dishes that you cook for them, and some characters even have favorite dishes, and they'll say something different when you give them their favorite dish. So it's a lot of fun to try out a bunch of different recipes
no se va a hacer el
which your characters prefer.
Yeah, and if you watch the TGS live stream, you might have seen the cutscene where it's showing the tower actually raising from the ground. And
eso es impresionante, Chris, está hermoso.
Base for Link whenever he goes to the next mission. So I think you just saw him kind of like warping from the tower to that new location where I'm going to be showcasing the 200 sword training mission.
Right.
So yeah,
it is a training mission.
Hey, don't judge me.
I mean, there's no judgment. Sword is a lot of work.
If anything, I just feel bad for
entrenamiento. Tómala.
No, you know, he works up quite a sweat to win that thing around.
Fighting.
Yeah, so as you can see, this is a training level, so you're fighting against a lot of Hyrulean soldiers. And
empiezan los ofertas de octubre en la eShop o dónde?
Sword, which you know, aesthetically does look a lot like how it was used in Breath of the Wild.
Valdrá la pena la cuchara si la partas.
In this game, it's slower but more powerful than the one-handed sword.
Yo me lo voy a comprar físico de todos modos. Órale, qué pedo.
he can use the unique action to strengthen his strong attacks. In exchange, he takes a little bit of temporary damage. Like that. And in order to heal that temporary damage, you can press X to consume a meal in the middle of battle. I love the animation for him eating.
Yeah,
I love the animation for him eating.
Let's get near some enemies.
She'll do it for us.
Get near some enemies. Oh, no, not quite. Okay, so, but one of those
gracias a la persona que nos está siguiendo, no sé japonés, no sé leer. Posteado, vientos, gracias.
And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to show you that because
¿De parte de quién?
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Eso, Rixe, gracias.
Aggressive food eating, shockwave blast, sending the soldiers flying.
I love that they included that in this game as part of the actual fighting style for two-handed sword. I think it's a great homage to Breath of the Wild and people who played it like I did, which is to say having a stockpile of apples or something in my inventory so I could chow down when I'm being blown back by a strong attack that did lots of damage.
You can aggressively eat your apples and send those soldiers
Aggressively eat your apples. It's the only way to eat apples in this game.
If you burn,
alright, how many KOs do we have?
Actually get the grilled apples here.
Oh yeah.
So I have to kill 170 more.
Tengo físico el bread, pero también te voy a conseguir físico. Viento, sí.
I'd also like to point out that this location is very familiar. It appeared as ruins in Breath of the Wild, but now, before the Calamity, it's in its heyday. And it's very cool to see what it looked like before it got destroyed.
Yeah, and Chico, maybe you can show us some lightning rod action.
Oh yeah, we did get to see the ice rod before.
Yeah, that one.
Poor soldiers.
You can do it. So, as you can see, she's timing her attacks for when that weak point gauge comes out. The big strategy against these stronger enemies is to cut down that weak point gauge.
A ver si ponen la oferta del folio en orden. Ándale.
Can do counter attack, which can be very powerful.
Okay.
Nice one.
Esos follows, mil gracias. Los invito a Twitch igual si gustan.
I love
ese poder ya lo he hecho muchas veces.
I think it's my favorite. It's so satisfying, to just slam through all of these enemies, these thousands and thousands of enemies. And also to take a little break to have a snack here and then.
El Fall Guys no tiene crossplay, ¿verdad?
I'm hoping we can.
I know your favorite is the.
O sea, con Tigre nos peleará. Ahorita es una misión de entrenamiento.
I'm trying! I suck at this!
Madres.
You don't. No, you don't. You're doing great. You're almost there.
Mira, dice, defeat many training opponents. O sea, vence a muchos oponentes de entrenamiento. Esta de Luke.
Oh, yeah. It's Daruk.
He's my favorite.
No se trabe.
He's very heavy moving character too. Oh my god.
Yeah. He moves surprisingly quickly for someone of his size, though, I have to say.
Se mueve muy rápido para un personaje de su tamaño. Sería chido que tuviera crossplay. Ya, pronto. Ay, si mete con alguien de tu tamaño, dice.
Oh my gosh.
Ya lo durmió.
That was like a little bit of rough play for training.
They take their training very seriously.
Nice work. Nice
yeah,
work.
Wow.
Man,
¿Están haciendo Hatsune Miku algo más sexual?
Good job.
¿Y eso?
Yeah, you did.
All right, let's cut away from this for a second because we have one other thing we'd like to show you. Chico's got to set it up though. I love Daruk. He's so great.
Yo no metí anuncios.
He's such a
and it's really
fun character.
Yo no fui.
Yeah, and it's cool to see all the various characters, you know, that we know and love from Breath of the Wild, but seeing them in this different setting and seeing all of their special moves and how those differ. I do really like seeing that.
Le puse no molestar y ya se acabó.
As well, you, the viewers.
Yeah, it's great. It's an amazing thing that they've done with this game to bring us into this era, you know, pre-Calamity, and show us all these characters and show us the intricacies of how they interact and how they perform in battle. It's stuff that I think personally, as a fan of Breath of the Wild, I wished for so hard, was the chance to be able to see these guys in their prime. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and not to bring the soup ladle up too much, but I do want to say I love that they included the soup ladle. You know, that they're bringing it back, and we see those same touches from Breath of the Wild in this game. And Chico mentioned that the weapons aren't breakable, so you really could, you know, equip that soup ladle if you wanted a serious challenge. You could fight with the soup ladle.
O sea, puedes, como las armas no se rompen, están diciendo que puedes utilizar el cucharón para... ¡qué bien! ¿Impa?
All right, so we're looking at Impa now.
Sí, Impa.
Yeah. So what I want to show is in a distance, but I need to take care of these guys first.
Pero sube el volumen, mija.
These guys just in my way.
Gracias.
So obviously this is a new depiction of Impa that we're seeing here.
Sí, es una nueva modalidad de Impa
que show us just what Impa is capable of in the gameplay.
I love her. I love Impa so much. I think she's so much fun to play. She's so quick, and she has these different jutsu attacks that she uses, like the summoning of the frog. And the creation of foam.
Let's go.
You did. That was an impressive use of the electric rod.
Gracias a
And here we have a Hinox.
El fin de semana llegué a los 1000.
I love it. So yeah, as I was saying, Impa's gameplay, being able to absorb those symbols to create the clones and then strengthen the strong attack when she has all of her clones
Está increíble
out. It's really fun. It takes a lot of strategy and timing. Nice. And you can see her Sheikah rune usage does differ from the other characters we've looked at today too.
Hasta los de le gusta Naruto. Sí.
You can do it. So we discussed earlier the usage of runes in order to create openings to counter strong enemies. And it's even more important that you do that when fighting these big monsters too, because if you get the timing right on these, just like that,
me quité la playera.
Great dramatic openings for yourself.
Eso me interesa, voy a usar el momento.
And it really is vital that you get these weak point smashes in because they do so much damage. And it can really make it easy to, or easier, I should say, to take these guys out.
To take out the poor Hinox that was just having a nap, minding his own business.
I don't know about that.
Tiene clones de sí misma.
I would be grumpy too if I got woken up like that.
That's fair.
No me acuerdo qué día fue.
Nice.
Sawako, gracias por el like.
She really is.
I love that flying squirrel move. The maniacal laughter, yes.
Nice. Alright, I think that's the time we have left for today. Let's stop beating up on this poor Hinox and go back to his nap. All right.
Hola, Leo.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Gracias a todos por venir.
Warriors Age of Calamity, which releases Friday, November 20th. We hope you enjoyed it.
Noviembre.
We sure did.
20 de noviembre.
And have a great day. Bye-bye.
Que tengan un buen día. Gracias, bye-bye, adiós. Ah, pues qué chido estuvo. Me han dejado la muerte. Sí, yo también quería que dejaran la muerte. Se pasan. Se pasan de aztecas. Ah, pues qué tal. Estuvo bien chido. Ah, pues a mí me encantó. Ya lo quiero. Sí, ya. Ya lo queremos todos. Ya lo queremos jugar. Ah, se ve bien chido. Gato. Pues... sí está muy bueno. Sí, ya. Ya queremos que sea 20. Ya, por favor. Denme Pikmin. Quiero. ¿Qué día quiero Pikmin? Quiero Zelda. El Pikmin... Repito, que sí tenga historia acorde a la saga lo hace más especial. Sí, no, claro. El Pikmin... Yeah. Estuvo tan bueno que hasta se nos había olvidado el Pikmin. Sí. ¿Cuándo sale el Pikmin? Sale como en... Ah, el 30, ¿no? 30 de octubre y luego el 20 de noviembre. 31, gracias. Uf, no, pues ya. Ya casi. Qué bueno que ya mi tarjeta ya tiene el dinero suficiente. Bueno, pues ya se fue todo el mundo. Nos vinieron aquí rápido. Lío de Hyrule. Listo. No, pues ya. Hay cosas que hacer ahorita. Silent Air buscando el momento. Ya, pásale la foto. Ya para que la vea ya. Más fácil. Porque hijo, no me acuerdo. No me acuerdo bien si fue sábado, domingo. Alex. Vientos. Ah, cabrón, esos cuadros. ¿Cuáles cuadros? ¿Eh? Ya se fue a dar clases. Bueno, pues hay que te la pase por el Discord luego. Sí sí me tomaron foto. Sí me tomaron pantallazo. Hola, Cooper, bye. Yo también me despido. ¿Ya le contaste? ¿Ya lo viste? Chido. ¿Qué día fue? ¿Qué día fue? ¿Sábado? Sábado, domingo. Ah, por eso decía los cuadros. Pues no me acuerdo. No me acuerdo. No me acuerdo. No me acuerdo ni de lo que hice en la mañana. El domingo. No me acuerdo de lo que hice en la mañana. No tengo ni idea de... No, es que el domingo fue día de Renato. Qué bárbaro. Estuvo como 8 horas transmitiendo un montón de cosas. Y yo, pues nada más en la noche, el Rock Band. Y estaba yo súper a gusto en el Rock Band. 9 horas, no manches. Estaba yo súper a gusto en el Rock Band y yo diciendo, diciéndole a Drac, oye, pues qué manchados que te hagan trabajar en domingo, porque decía que tenía que trabajar al día siguiente. Me dice, güey, mañana es lunes. O sea, estaba yo súper contento jugando en domingo pensando que era sábado. Chale. Ya esto de la cuarentena ahora sí ya me afectó. Ya no sé en qué día vivo. Sí, está cabrón. Cámara. Pues nos vemos al rato. Todavía no sé si juguemos Ninjala o si juguemos la otra cosa. ¿Qué era la otra cosa que decía que iba a jugar? No sé. Pero bueno, nos vemos en la noche. Toma super like. Muchas gracias, Leo. Eso. Y voy a volver a arreglar esto. Dale. Nos vemos al rato. Cuídense. No, Mario Kart es los lunes. Hoy es miércoles de alguna otra cosa. Save settings. Pásensela bien, cuídense. No se mueran. Como diría Alexa. Y pues, sigamos esperando que salga Hyrule Warriors. No, es que Jazz está en... Jazz puede estar en clase, pero puede tener el stream al lado y estarnos viendo. Hola, Chris. Nos vemos, Chris, Tis, Leo, Silent Claire, Jazz, Renato, Drac. ¿Quiénes son de arriba? De este lado se quedó Chris, Sawako, César Bautista. Los que llegaron de del raid de Facebook, gracias. Y de este lado en Twitch quedaron Jesse, ahí anda Ovidiel. Tampoco siguen. Sí, Jesse, Ovidiel. Y creo que ya. No sé por qué tengo un seguidor que se llama Jorx Falso, Flask Copy, Commander Root. No sé, son bots, ¿no? Seguramente. Ahí está el Ovidiel. Ohio. Cámara. Nos vemos al rato. Gracias por venir. Bye. Saludos al iPod. He sido el iPod. Bye.